Picture this. It's November 5, 2021, Houston, Texas. NRG Park is packed with 50,000 people, mostly young, mostly excited, all there for one thing, Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival. The energy is electric, the crowd is massive, the bass is pounding. This is supposed to be the concert of the year. Travis Scott takes the stage at 9:02 p.m. The crowd surges forward, 50,000 people pushing toward the stage at once, bodies pressed against bodies, the pressure building. People at the front can't breathe, can't move, can't escape. Within minutes, people start collapsing, passing out, being trampled. Security guards are overwhelmed. Medical staff are frantically trying to reach victims, but can't get through the crowd. People are screaming for help, begging the concert to stop, but the music keeps playing. Travis keeps performing, and people keep dying. By the time the concert ends at 10:10 p.m., just 68 minutes after it started, 10 people are dead or dying. Hundreds more are injured. It's one of the deadliest concert disasters in American history, and it was completely preventable. This is the story of the Astroworld Tragedy, a night when a music festival turned into a mass casualty event, when crowd crush killed 10 people while 50,000 others watched, when a superstar kept performing while fans died in front of the stage, and when a series of failures, security, planning, greed, negligence, cost innocent people their lives. Let me take you back to the weeks before the tragedy. Travis Scott, rapper, producer, Houston native, is one of the biggest names in music. His Astroworld Festival, named after his 2018 album, has been held annually since 2018. It's a huge event, massive production, multiple stages, top-tier artists, and it's known for one thing: intensity. Travis Scott concerts are chaotic, energetic, wild. That's the brand. That's what fans expect. But there's a dark side to this rage culture. Travis promotes. His concerts have a history of injuries. In 2017, a fan was paralyzed after being pushed from a third-floor balcony at a Travis Scott concert. In 2019, at Astroworld Festival, 3 people were trampled and hospitalized. Travis has been arrested twice for inciting riots at his shows. He literally encourages fans to rage, to ignore security, to rush the stage. This isn't edgy performance art, this is dangerous, but it's also profitable. The chaos is part of the appeal. And in 2021, after a year of COVID lockdowns, the demand is higher than ever. Astroworld 2021 is scheduled for November 5th, 6 at NRG Park in Houston. The venue can hold 200,000 people across the grounds, but the main stage area, where Travis will perform, is designed for maybe 25,000, 30,000. Live Nation, the event organizer, sells 50,000 tickets for Travis's Friday night performance. 50,000 people in a space designed for half that. The first red flag, overcrowding, is planned into the event. The second red flag, security. The event hires insufficient security personnel for a crowd this size. The security company Contemporary Services Corporation (CSC) has a history of understaffing events, and the security staff hired are mostly young, inexperienced minimum wage workers with minimal training. The third red flag, the event plan. Houston officials review Live Nation's safety plan and note concerns about crowd control. But the event is approved anyway. Money talks. This is a major event bringing revenue to Houston. Concerns are noted but not enforced. The fourth red flag, general admission with no assigned seating or sections. 50,000 people with no crowd control barriers. No way to manage flow. Everyone rushing toward the stage at once. November 5th, 2021. The festival opens at 2 p.m. From the start, there are problems. Crowds outside the venue breach the perimeter fences, jumping over and running through security checkpoints without tickets. Videos show hundreds of people stampeding into the venue. Security is overwhelmed. They can't stop it. By afternoon, the crowd inside is well over capacity. People who jumped the fence aren't counted. No one knows exactly how many people are in the venue. Overcrowding is already severe hours before Travis takes the stage. Throughout the day, there are signs of trouble. Medical staff report being overwhelmed with patients, heat exhaustion, dehydration, drug overdoses. The Houston Fire Department is called multiple times, but nothing is done to control the crowd or delay the main event. 9 p.m. approaches. Travis Scott is about to perform. The crowd at the main stage is packed impossibly tight. People are already complaining they can't breathe. Security is pushing people back, but there's nowhere to go. The crowd is a solid mass of bodies. 9:02 p.m. Travis Scott takes the stage. The crowd surges forward. This is called a crowd crush, when a mass of people moves as a single force, creating pressure so intense that people at the center can't breathe, can't expand their chests, can't survive. The crowd at Astroworld surges toward the stage with such force that people at the front are lifted off their feet, crushed against barriers, trampled. Within the first few minutes, people start passing out. Multiple concertgoers later report the same thing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was being crushed. I tried to scream for help, but no one could hear me over the music. A 14-year-old boy named John Hilgert is one of the first to collapse. He's with friends, excited for the concert. The crowd surges. John goes down. His friends try to pull him up but can't reach him. He's trampled. He dies. Brianna Rodriguez, 16 years old, is crushed in the crowd. She passes out from lack of oxygen. She's trampled. She dies. Franco Patino, 21, a college student, is celebrating his birthday at the concert. He's caught in the crush. He can't breathe. He collapses. He dies. And the music keeps playing. By 9:10 p.m., just 8 minutes into the performance, Houston Fire Department declares a mass casualty event. This is the official designation for a disaster with multiple victims requiring immediate response. Emergency medical services are overwhelmed. Dozens of people are unconscious. Medical staff are performing CPR on multiple victims simultaneously. But Travis Scott continues performing. The show goes on. At 9:18 p.m., a woman climbs onto the cameraman's platform near the stage and begs him to stop the show. People are dying. Stop the concert. The cameraman radios for help, but nothing happens immediately. Travis keeps performing. At 9:30 p.m., an ambulance enters the crowd to reach victims. The crowd is so dense the ambulance can barely move. People climb on top of the ambulance. Some concert-goers think it's part of the show. Travis sees the ambulance. He pauses briefly, says, "What the fuck is that?" then continues performing. This moment is captured on video. Travis Scott standing on stage, watching an ambulance trying to reach dying fans, and he keeps performing. He doesn't stop the show. He doesn't tell the crowd to back up. He just keeps going. At 9:38 p.m., 36 minutes into the 68-minute set, Houston police speak with the event organizers and tell them there are lots of people hurt. They request the show be cut short, but the organizers don't stop it. They don't want to cause a riot by ending early, so the show continues. At 9:42 p.m., more people collapse. More ambulances try to enter. The crowd is in full panic now. People are screaming, crying, trying to escape but unable to move. It's hell. A dense, suffocating, terrifying hell. Madison Dubisky, 23, is crushed. She dies. Axel Acosta, 21, came to the festival alone. He's caught in the crush. He dies. Rodolfo Rudy Peña, 23, is trampled. He dies. Jacob Juranek, 20, trying to save his friend, is crushed. He dies. Danish Baig, 27, is crushed trying to help others escape. He dies. And Travis Scott keeps performing. At 10:10 p.m. the concert finally ends. Travis finishes his set, the crowd disperses, and the full horror becomes clear. The medical area is overwhelmed. Bodies are laid out. Hundreds of injured people are being treated. 8 people are declared dead at the scene or die shortly after at hospitals. 2 more, Bardi Shahani, 22, and Ezra Blount, 9 years old, will die from their injuries in the following days. Ezra Blount was 9 years old. He was at the concert with his father. He was trampled in the crowd crush. His father couldn't save him. Ezra suffered severe brain damage and died. 9 days later, 9 years old, at a concert crushed to death. The youngest victim, the most heartbreaking. In total, 10 people died, ages 9 to 27, hundreds more were injured, broken bones, trampling injuries, cardiac arrests from being crushed, thousands were traumatized. And all of this happened while Travis Scott was on stage, while cameras were recording, while 50,000 people watched. The aftermath was explosive. Lawsuits were filed immediately. Hundreds of victims sued Travis Scott, Live Nation, and the event organizers for negligence, wrongful death, and gross misconduct. The lawsuits alleged that the event was negligently planned, understaffed, and that Travis Scott's rage culture and history of encouraging dangerous behavior directly contributed to the deaths. Travis Scott issued a statement saying he was devastated and didn't know the severity of what was happening. He claimed he would have stopped the show if he'd known people were dying, but the evidence contradicts this. Videos show Travis seeing unconscious fans being carried out, seeing ambulances in the crowd, and continuing to perform. Other artists, Adele, Billie Eilish, Linkin Park, have stopped shows immediately when they saw fans in distress. Travis didn't. Criminal investigations were launched. The Houston Police Department opened a criminal inquiry into the event. Was this negligent homicide, manslaughter? Could Travis Scott, Live Nation executives, or event organizers be charged criminally? In June 2023, a grand jury declined to indict Travis Scott or anyone else criminally. No criminal charges were filed. The families of victims were devastated. No one would be held criminally responsible for 10 deaths. But the civil lawsuits continued. In 2024, many victims reached settlements with Live Nation and Travis Scott. The terms weren't disclosed, but reports suggest tens of millions of dollars in settlements. Travis Scott's net worth took a hit. His reputation was damaged. Concert promoters became more cautious. But here's the infuriating part. This was preventable. Completely, entirely preventable. Crowd crush is not a mystery. It's a well-studied phenomenon. Event planners know how to prevent it. Proper capacity limits, crowd control barriers, sufficient security, emergency stop protocols. These aren't new concepts. They're standard practice. The Astroworld tragedy happened because of greed and negligence. Live Nation sold too many tickets for the space. They hired insufficient security to save money. They ignored safety concerns because stopping the show would cost revenue. Travis Scott cultivated a rage brand that encouraged dangerous behavior and didn't stop performing when people were dying. And 10 people paid the price. 10 people who went to a concert, something millions of people do safely every year and never came home. Let me tell you about them. Not as statistics, as people. John Hilgert, 14, was a freshman in high school. He loved baseball, his family, his friends. He was excited to see Travis Scott. His parents dropped him off at the concert. They never saw him alive again. Brianna Rodriguez, 16, was a junior in high school. She was an artist, a dancer. She went to the concert with friends. She died in the crowd crush. Franco Patino, 21, was a college student studying engineering. It was his birthday. He went to celebrate. He never made it home. Jake Juranek, 20, was a journalism student. He went to the concert with his friend Franco. When Franco collapsed, Jake tried to save him. Both died. Rudy Pena, 23, was a student and model. He was passionate about fashion and music. He went alone to the concert. He died alone in the crowd. Danish Baig, 27, was engaged to be married. He saw people in trouble and tried to help them. He died helping others. Madison Dubisky, 23, was a recent college graduate starting her career. She loved music, her family, life. She died at a concert. Axel Acosta, 21, was a computer science student. He went to the concert alone. He was crushed in the crowd. Barty Shahani, 22, was a senior in college studying electronics engineering. She went with her sister and cousin. She suffered brain damage in the crush and died 9 days later. Ezra Blount, 9, was the youngest. He loved his family, his friends, music. His father lifted him onto his shoulders to see better. When the crush happened, Ezra was knocked unconscious. He died 9 days later from his injuries. 9 years old. These are the 10 people who died at Astroworld. They were sons, daughters, siblings, friends. They had dreams, plans, futures, and they all died at a concert that should have been safe.
The Astroworld tragedy sparked a larger conversation about concert safety.
How many people died at festivals because of negligence? How many times had warnings been ignored? How many times had profit been prioritized over safety? And it sparked a conversation about celebrity responsibility. Travis Scott built his brand on chaos. He encouraged fans to rush stages, ignore security, rage without limits. He was arrested for inciting violence at concerts, and when people died at his festival, he claimed he didn't know. But is ignorance an excuse when you've spent years cultivating dangerous behavior? Some people defend Travis. They say he's just an artist, that Live Nation and the event organizers are responsible for safety, that Travis couldn't have known the severity of the situation in real time. But others point to the pattern, the history of injuries at his shows, the explicit encouragement of dangerous behavior, the failure to stop the show when ambulances were visible in the crowd. They say Travis Scott bears moral, if not legal, responsibility. The truth is probably somewhere in between. Travis Scott didn't intend for people to die, but his actions, years of promoting dangerous rage culture, failing to stop the show, prioritizing performance over safety, created conditions where tragedy was almost inevitable. Live Nation is equally culpable. They oversold the event, understaffed security, ignored safety protocols, prioritized profit over people, and when disaster struck, they didn't have adequate emergency response. The Houston officials who approved the event despite safety concerns share blame. The security company that failed to control the crowd shares blame. The culture that normalizes dangerous concert behavior shares blame. But ultimately, 10 people are dead, and someone should be held accountable. Today, the Astroworld Festival is canceled. Travis Scott's reputation is damaged. Concert safety protocols have been reviewed and strengthened at many venues. But the families of the 10 victims live with permanent loss. Ezra Blount's parents will never see their son grow up. Franco Patino's family celebrated his last birthday at a morgue. Brianna Rodriguez's parents buried their 16-year-old daughter. The Astroworld tragedy is a reminder that safety isn't optional, that crowds are dangerous when mismanaged, that concerts events meant to bring joy can turn deadly when organizers prioritize profit over people. It's a reminder that it won't happen to me. Thinking is dangerous, that we need to demand better from event organizers, from artists, from ourselves, that when we see something wrong, overcrowding, people in distress, dangerous conditions, we need to speak up, act, demand change. And it's a reminder that behind every statistic is a person. 10 people died at Astroworld. Not 10 numbers. 10 humans with families, dreams, and futures cut short. November 5th, 2021. 50,000 people went to a concert. 10 never came home and the music kept playing.